Joining me now is Sagi's father, Jonathan Dekochen. Jonathan, on this anniversary, our hearts are with you. We've gotten to know you, but there's no way we can feel your pain. But Raf, I think, did such a beautiful report. And there's a longer version online that we'll share with our viewers as well, with your family there.
Well, first, thank you, Andrea, for having me back under the worst possible circumstances. Look, it has been an uphill battle from the start to keep the story of the hostages on the international front burner. As the fighting escalates in Israel and around Israel, it's becoming that much harder to make sure that within all the violence that has broken out in our region, to understand that the hostages need to be in the middle, not simply because of a humanitarian story, but also because the only way the madness starts to end right now is by completing a deal between Hamas and Israel, get the hostages home, get a ceasefire, stop the suffering in Gaza, and then diffuse the rest of the conflicts.
There were some of the families, the American families, met with White House officials yesterday. Were you among them?
I was. We met virtually with Brett McGurk and Amos Hochstein yesterday. It was a continuation of now dozens of such meetings that we've had with various senior officials. And they're always, I'm not sure that they're encouraging at this point because things are deadlocked with the hostage negotiation. But we are incredibly appreciative that the most senior U.S. officials are speaking with us regularly and at eye level.
Rachel Goldberg, Hirsch Poland's mother, says hope is mandatory. It's hard to keep hope alive as it's escalating in Lebanon, expanding to Iran. It's now a regional war, or approaching a regional war, that everyone had tried to avoid since October 8th. Does Netanyahu now have free rein to expand this for what he perceives as Israel's security?
It's a good question. As far as his government is concerned, yes, it would seem that, if he and his government were preaching for the first many months of the war against Hamas that he was looking for total victory, which was always a myth. It's not possible to have total victory over an ideology as pathological as it might be for Hamas. So that was a fantasy. Now it appears that our Israeli government is pursuing a total war, on 7 fronts. Who knows if it will expand beyond there, where nobody benefits, and certainly not the hostages. At this point, not just the hostages, but all people of the region need well-meaning people, well-meaning governments to step forward in order to diffuse this incredibly dangerous conflict, not just for the countries and the peoples of the region, but it could also be incredibly damaging for the world economy and for international security. And, the cornerstones of this are getting Hamas to yes, somehow, to a yes for an agreement that allows for the hostages to come back and for the citizens, the innocent civilians in Gaza, to stop their suffering. But until that happens, it's very difficult to know how this downward spiral stops.
And with all the focus on Netanyahu, obviously Sinwar and Hamas could release Jonathan and everyone else right now,
yes,
tomorrow. What do you know from those who have returned about his condition?
Well, we know very little about Sagi's condition. To remind you, late November, early December, there was a first wave of hostages released, about 100, as a result of a negotiated agreement between Israel and Hamas. that both sides were forced to and to agree to in different ways. At that time, 100 come home. 40 of them are from my kibbutz, from kibbutz Nir Oz, women and children. And a handful of them were able to tell us that they had encountered Sagi very briefly in the tunnels under Gaza. At the time, and again, this is a lifetime ago.
November.
He was alive and wounded. They could also tell us about a lot of other people from our kibbutz, men mostly, who remained behind. The horrifying part of this, or the even more horrifying part, is that many of those same men that they had seen and spoken with and lived with for a time are now dead, either executed by Hamas in the ensuing months or by neglect. A lot of older men who had chronic conditions and simply were left to die by Hamas, or by friendly fire, meaning the misplaced Israeli bomb or artillery shell, things that happen in the fog of war. So we are desperate at this point. It's clear that every day brings only greater danger.
And just looking at you, Jonathan, I just referred to Sagi as Jonathan, but of course we're talking about your son, Sagi. What do you say to your grandchildren?
Well, those beautiful faces that you saw.
Extraordinary.
We tell them as much truth as we can, that their dad and a lot of other dads from our kibbutz are being held in Gaza, and that we are doing everything we can to get all those dads and children home. You know, it's not just their dad. There's a couple of little boys who are still being held. We have no idea if they're still alive. Kfir and Ariel Bibas, and lots of grandfathers that are still there. All of them civilians, and all of them victims of a horrific massacre on October 7th. But the people of Gaza, in a manner of speaking, are also victims of that same Hamas regime that has no compunction about sacrificing tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of civilians in Gaza for only one reason: to launch a regional holy war of destruction against Israel. Now, if the world is willing to let that just be, then on this anniversary of that massacre, we're in far greater trouble. Humanity is in far greater trouble than we might now understand.
And your heart is so big. I know you always mention the people of Gaza, as do we, because they're all victims of this war. But our thoughts are with Sagi and with your family and the other hostages as well.
Thank you so much for keeping the spotlight on the hostages.
No, we will not stop. Thank you.
Thank you.